All praises to our Creator. All praises to our Framer and Shaper. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Maker of that breath, Hawa. Much ahab to the tribe. How y'all living? How are you doing? Hope everybody's doing well, fam. You know, I hope your energy's magnetic. I hope you A1, you know. Most definitely, I hope you charged up. I hope no matter what you're going through, you know, you keeping your head up. No matter what it's looking like. You know, I hope that you know we are connected. I hope you know that this frequency is just for you. It's just for us. I hope you know that this frequency is pure water. I hope you know that the Creator only wanted this for you. So, with much ahab, I show appreciation to our Creator. And with that appreciation, I hope the tribe, I hope the fam, I hope all my autochtons, my indigenous, original aboriginals, I hope all my copper colored races, so-called Negro, otherwise known as African Americans. I hope all my people's doing well, all my copper colored races, right? All my fam, all across this thing we call the plane, right? This flat, fixed, firm, fixed, and immovable land. I hope everybody's doing well, fam, you know. Much ahab to you, you know, on the behalf of my fam and I, you know. Your vibration, all the support, all the ahab, the positivity, you know, it's been amazing. We appreciate you. You know, we humbly thank you, show our gratitude. You guys, you know, it's been a fresh breath air, alright? Fresh breath of air. And, you know, I just humbly thank y'all, fam, for real. It's charging me up, it charges up all of us. You know, so, yeah, I come to y'all with love, man, and, you know, I just want to take this time out and, you know, get acquainted with the fam since we are a bit more acquainted, you feel me? And, just want to check in on y'all, make sure y'all living good, no matter what y'all going through, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what it's about. We gotta feel it. We gotta feel it. We gotta feel it amongst ourselves. We gotta feel it for ourselves, first and foremost. And you do it for the Creator. Alright? We do this for the Creator. We come to you and we speak to the whole, the collective, the consciousness, right? We come to y'all for the Creator. So, you know, always keep your head up, fam. You know what I'm saying? And as I'm always reminded by the fam, you know, constantly rely on the Creator, on the Most High. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna get into some things today. I've been building with my brethren You know what I'm saying? We've been going over some things, and I just want to see how the rest of the fam feels about it. You know, I'm going to cover a lot, so I don't want to take up too much time. I just want y'all to, you know, to surf the wave, you feel me? Much ado to the fam, man, you know, and we're gonna get into it. So, as you see, we're dealing with the term natural, and, you know, they gave us the definition and everything. I hope you was able to look at it, you know, but, I just want to know if these images come to your mind, fam. You know what I'm saying? When you look at natural, or when you think of natural, is this what you think of? Right? And what emotion, what feeling does this bring up, right? When you see these images or images that are like it. Alright, subtract the hijack, of course, you know, minus the hijack, but yeah, you know what comes to mind, right? What emotions come to heart? What do you feel? Alright? When you think about natural and what it is to be natural. Right? So, just wanted to, you know, see what y'all thought on that. We're gonna go ahead and excuse me, fam. We're gonna dig on this natural law, right? Because I don't know. There might be some that know, might, you know, be some that don't, but you know, I feel like I came across something that is not necessarily discussed more broadly in terms that, you know, the majority can, you know, understand. So, you know, I'm going to try to see what we can get out of this, because it deals directly towards with us. This is our structure right here, all right? Now, you know, folks might think like, okay, yeah, I know about natural law, you know, we are running off that right now. We doing this and we doing that. But this is exactly what this presentation is for, and we're gonna go ahead and dig on it, right? It says natural laws of philosophy asserting that certain rights are inherited, right? Certain rights are inherited by virtue of so-called human nature, right? Endowed by nature, traditionally, of what they want to refer to God, right? Or a transcendent source. In other words, for us, the Most High, right? And they say that it could be understood universally through human reason. Alright, so it's a philosophy asserting that certain rights are inherited, right? So you know what it means to inherit something, right? It's passed on by the, you know, the nature of man, and it is endowed by nature, traditionally the Most High. Alright, so the Most High, you know, was able to leave natural law for man to, you know, follow, right? It says that as determined by nature, the law of nature is implied to be universal. Alright, so already we already looking at hijack 101, which is why when it comes to natural law and, you know, the origins of it, a lot of folks don't know how to connect it, right? Like, you know, I know a lot of folks be digging like, man, you know, where does the commandments fit into all of this, right? If the commandments are laws, right? Like, how does this connect? But yeah, fam, as we can see already in this tiny little paragraph, right? I mean, within the first few sentences, they already dropped the hijack, right? Now, it said it is implied to be universal. It is implied to be universal, but it is not. All right? Now, the reason why it's not, because there is no such thing as a universe, fam. First and foremost, you feel me? And I know that upsets a lot of people, but if you rocking with the frequency, right? If you got the drop, you understand that the plane is flat, right? But we're going to touch on that, all right? So there is no universe. So the law of nature cannot be universal, right? And then they say that it exists independently of the positive law of the given political order or society of a nation state. Okay, so they attach this independent view of law that they call the positive law and attached it to this universal meaning that they got, and then they attach that to this law of nature, which is natural law, right? It says, historically, natural law refers to the use of reason to analyze human nature to deduce binding rules of moral behavior from nature's or the Most High's creation of reality and man, right? So, historically, right, according to them, they want to say that natural law refers to the use of analyzing human nature to deduce, right? To take away the binding rules of moral behavior from what the Most High has already set for his reality of creation. So the Most High had already set up these natural laws, right, to govern his creation. And they want to use the natural law to take away from the binding moral rules of behavior that is expected of the Most High to be carried out. It says, the concept of natural law first appeared in ancient Greek philosophy, including Aristotle, and was referred to by Roman philosopher Cicero. It was subsequently alluded to in the Bible and was then developed in the Middle Ages by Catholic philosophers such as Albert the Great, right? And Thomas, whatever this is, right? Aquinas. During the Age of Enlightenment, it says modern natural law theories were further developed, combining inspiration from the Roman law and alongside philosophies like social contact theory. Alright, so they continue to add on, making this ancient natural law that was already constituted by the Most High, right? They wanted to add on and modernize it like they do everything. They say that it first appeared in Greek philosophy, right? But here it tells us traditionally that the natural rights are inherited through nature, traditionally by way of the Most High. So it couldn't have popped up in Greek first. You feel me? They're telling you this is where the hijack began, which is in the so-called ancient Greek philosophy. Because we know when we're dealing with the original text of this book they call the Bible, right? When we really know it's our ancestral scriptures, right? These is the writings, right? This predates them, right? But they want to say, according to modern natural law, these theories were further developed. So, you know, they combined their Roman law along with other philosophies from all these different folks right here, and then made this Age of Enlightenment the new modern natural law. But we're going to continue to dig, fam, because as we're going to see, they don't operate with natural law, which is why we're doing this presentation. It's a scam, fam. Alright? It says it was used to challenge the divine right of kings and became an alternative justification and establishment of social contract, positive law, and government, and thus legal rights in the form of classical republicanism. Conversely, the concept of natural rights is used by others to challenge the legitimacy of all such establishments. It says contemporarily, the concept of natural law is closely related to the concept of natural rights. Indeed, many philosophers, jurists, and scholars use natural law synonymously with natural rights or natural justice, while others distinguish between natural law and natural right. Alright, so let's check out natural rights, right? And natural rights says what? Says natural, right? Natural and legal rights are two types of rights. So you have natural rights and then you have your legal rights, right? It says your natural rights are those that are not dependent on the laws or customs of any particular culture or government, and therefore universal and inalienable. Alright? It says rights cannot be replaced or restrained by human laws. It says legal rights are those bestowed upon a person by a given legal system. Right? So natural rights are those that are not dependent on the laws or custom of any particular culture or government. They want to say that these rights are universal, right? Which make them inalienable. Right? But there is no universal, right? And when they add universal, they mean all, they mean everything. But not everything and not all is natural. Alright? Which is why they came up with the two distinctions. Right? It says legal rights are those bestowed onto a person, right, by a given legal system. It says rights that can be modified, repealed, and restrained by human laws. So they put you under human laws, right? When you're supposed to be operating in natural law, operating your natural rights, because you are natural. Right? It says the concept of natural law is closely related to the concept of natural rights. Right? And then it goes on to say that natural law first appeared in ancient Greek, right? And blah, blah, blah. And it alludes back to, you know, the scriptures. Alright? So, these are two different rights. You have your natural and your legal. Alright? You are operating in legal rights right now. Alright? We're here to operate these. Right? So, when we're looking at natural law, right? And when we're building on it, it's telling us that if you have inherent rights, right? Inherent rights, natural rights, right? And you choose to operate in natural law, that makes you outside of the legal system, right? Because you are not being upheld by human law, right? you're dealing with natural rights, right? That would make you what? That would make you a sovereign, right? That would make you sovereign. It says preeminence, right? Authority, rule, supremacy of rank or power of rank, right? When we dig on sovereign, right? It is the superior, right? The highest supreme chief, right? So when you're in your natural state, there is no vibration or law higher than that, other than that coincides with the Creator, right? Which they say is where this comes from, right? Right? Natural law. So it says, although natural law is often confused with common law, right? The two are distinct. Even though natural law theories have exercised a profound influence on the development of English common law, the latter is not based on inherent rights, right? So they took away your inheritance, right? But it is the legal, there goes that word, right? Tradition whereby certain rights or values were legally recognized by virtue of already having judicial recognition or articulation. Natural law is often contrasted with the human-made laws. Contrasted, right? With the human-made laws, also known as positive law, of a given state, political entity, or society. In legal theory, the interpretation of a human-made law requires some reference to natural law. On this understanding of natural law can be invoked to criticize judicial decisions about what the law says, but not to criticize the best interpretation of the law itself. Right? So they tell you you have grounds to dispute and even criticize it, right? But to interpret the law itself, you can't, because it's different. This obviously says that this is hijacked, right? Because they borrowed from the natural law to create this one. Right? The only problem is, fam, when we start to deal with this origin of natural law, they can't operate in the natural law because they are not natural. So they had to create other laws. Alright? To add on top of yours, to throw on top of yours, to jam up your law. Right? This is what they had to do. Right? I mean, this is what they're doing. Right? It says the use of natural law in its various incarnations has varied widely throughout history. There are a number of theories of natural law that differ from each other with respect to the role that morality plays in determining the authority of legal norms. The article deals with its usage separately rather than attempt to unify them into a single theory. Alright? They're not natural, fam. So they can't use natural law, right? But you can. You can. And I mean, it's deeper than what you think, right? Because they've been calling you natural the entire time. And they hate it whenever you revert back to that which is natural, right? They can't stand it when you go back to that, right? I mean, let's check on it, right? Afro, right? Sometimes abbreviated to fro, also known as a natural, right? Also known as a natural, right? They said what? Afro is derived from the term Afro-American. Who else is the so-called Afro-American? The hairstyle is referred to by some as the natural. The natural, right? The natural, right? I mean, let's bring it up. The natural. The hair, right? Natural. Alright, so when they called you Afro-American, what did they say? Natural American or American natural. Natural American, American natural. Etymology, right? Do you see anything about Africa? Where is Africa at? Right? It says Afro, sometimes abbreviated for fro, also known as natural. What is natural? Existing in or caused by nature, not made or caused by humankind. Oh, what? They turn around and hit you with what? Human-made laws, though, right? I mean, isn't that what we're talking about? They turn around and hit you with human-made laws. So human-made laws are unnatural, right? Because natural deals with what? Not made or caused by humankind. Afro, right? Afro-American, natural American, alright? So when we're dealing on natural, right, and when we're talking about natural law, we're talking about you. This natural law is yours. Because you're the only natural person, right? This is why they hate you, right? But we're going to continue to dig, fam, because it's not about that. It's about you realizing that you are natural by law. I am natural by law. The Most High established the law naturally to man. Right? Naturally. Common law. Right? What did it say? It says, although natural law is often confused with common law, right? So let's dig. Common law, also known as judicial precedent or judge-made law or case law, is the body of law developed by judges, courts, and similar tribunals. All right? The defining characteristic of common law is that it arises as precedent in cases where the parties disagree on what the law is. What the hell? I mean, did y'all see this? A common law court looks to pass presidential decisions of relevant courts and synthesizes the principles of those past cases as applicable to the current facts. If a similar dispute has been resolved in the past court, the court is usually bound to follow the reasoning used in prior decision. I mean, come on, fam, this shit is fake. Alright, this is fake, man. They just told you that where the parties disagree on what the law is. It says a common law system is a legal system. Right? Now we just seen how the legal system, right, is what? is not natural. Legal rights are those bestowed onto a person by a given legal system, right? So that's common law, right? And where did common law have its origins? In the development in English common law, the English, right? And the so-called English came over here to conquer you. So you see what's going on. They instituted these made-up laws that took you away from being natural. You don't even know or realize that you're natural no more. You don't even realize that the law was naturally placed in you. It's called morality. But y'all think this is a game, right? So we're going to continue to dig, fam. We're going to really see what's up. It says the term common law has many connotations. The first three set out here are the most common usage within the legal community. Other connotations from past centuries are sometimes seen and are sometimes heard in everyday speech. You have pure common law. You have interstitial common law. Interstitial common law. And you have, where's this third one? Oh, these right here, right? Well, I don't know. Maybe these three. But, I mean, they're obviously telling you, right, that this common law is a bunch of bullshit, fam. Alright? And it's dealing with, what? Codes and ethics, right? Shit is fake. Right? Natural rights and legal rights are two different types of rights. Natural rights are considered to be inalienable. They cannot be repealed or restrained by human laws. They cannot be repealed or restrained by human laws. They cannot be repealed or restrained by human laws. Alright? So, yeah, fam. Let's see what this is, right? Positive law. It says positive law are human laws, human-made laws that oblige or specify an action. It also describes the establishment of specific rights for an individual or group. Etymologically, the name derives from the verb to posit. The concept of positive law is distinct from natural law, which comprises inherent rights confirmed by act of legislation, but by, the Most High nature or reason. Alright? So they don't like the fact that, natural law ties back into the Most High. It ties back into nature. It ties back into reasoning, right? It says positive law is also described as the law that applies at a certain time, present or past, and at a certain place, consisting of statutory law and case law as far as it is binding. More specifically, positive law may be characterized as law actually and specifically enacted or adopted by proper authority for the government in an organized jural society. Right? By a given legal system, right? Legal system. So you see where they're getting us at, right, fam? So we don't want to deal with their positive law, fam, because it's not positive for us. We are natural, right? We are natural, right? We are natural. Natural Americans, not Afro, natural Americans or American naturals, right? And we already have a natural law. See, they want to play games, right? But we know where our natural law is, right? We know where it's at. right? But they want to play around. So look, let's dig on this some more, right? Take y'all down here real quick. It says the U.S. Declaration of Independence states that it has become necessary for the people of the United States to assume the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitled them. Some early American lawyers and judges perceived natural law as too tenuous and amorphous and evanescent a legal basis for grounding concrete rights and governmental limitations. Natural law did, however, serve as authority for legal claims and rights in some judicial decisions and legislative acts and legal pronouncements. It says that Robert Laurie Clinton argues that the U.S. Constitution rests on a common law foundation, and the common law in turn rests on a classical natural law foundation. So they hijacked your natural law and jammed it up and created this legal system of human-made laws called positive and common law. Right? But they know that natural law belongs to the Most High. Right? So we are not under natural law, fam. We are under their law, which is common. Right? Common law. Human-made law. Right? It said right here, the judges perceive natural law as too tenuous. Alright, so let's dig on this word, right? Tenuous. Tenuous means thin, unsubstantial, irregularly formed from the Latin tenuis, thin, drawn out, meager, slim, and slender. Trifling, insignificant, poor, low in rank. They said it was low in rank, fam, right? Now, I want you to pay attention to this part. Low in rank, alright? Remember how we read that in tenuous. They said that it was low in rank. It is not substantial. Having slight importance. They said natural law has slight importance. It is thin. Right? It says they also feel it's amorphous, right? So let's dig on that, right? Amorphous. It says amorphous is shapeless, having no determined form. What does that sound like, right, fam? Without form, shapeless, deformed, right? It says to morph, form, right? Without. And then you got New York attached to this. Alright? Now, why would New York be attached to this, right? I don't know. Maybe somebody was originally a part of the hijack over here in New York, right? Maybe they was doing something in New York, right? So, yeah, it means shapeless, right? So where have we heard that before, fam? Right? It also says that it is evanescent, right? Or evanescent, right? So, oh, we didn't get that one? Alright, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get the evanescent, right? Evanescent, or however it was spelled, hold on. Right. It says, on the point of becoming imperceptible. Right? It says to disappear, vanish, pass away. Right? To be forgotten, to be wasted, to vanish, to be empty, void. I mean, come on, fam, right? I mean, are we really reading this? Right? To all my indigenous fam out there, right? To all the Hebrews, right? I mean, come on, look at what we reading, right, fam? They said empty, void, right? To disappear, to vanish, right? This is what they believe in your natural law, right? To be of it, right? And just before that, we read that this is to have no shape, right? To be without form. What does this sound like, fam? Alright, so we're going to go ahead and continue. Here we have the law of nations. Right? The law of nations is a work of political philosophy. Alright? That was published in 1758. It says the law of nations deals largely with political philosophy and international relations, and has been said to have modernized the entire theory and practice of international law. It says centuries after his death, it was found that the United States President George Washington had a number of overdue library books dating back over 221 years. One of them was the Law of Nations. All right? The Law of Nations. Alright, so this is a new set of laws that we're looking at that jumps into international law. Right? And we're going to go ahead and look at that soon. But first, I want to check out this, right? The Doctrine of Discovery. A scandal in plain sight. Right? Now, we already know this, but I'm just highlighting so that the whole process stays smooth, right? Just in case there's some folks who've never seen this Doctrine of Discovery, right? Or who don't know what it is, right? So the Doctrine of Discovery is what allowed the Christian, groups to come over here and basically, discover so-called land, all right? It says that the letter called on the Pope to formally and publicly repudiate and rescind the Dum Diversas Bull of 1452 and other related bulls which grant the Pope's blessing to capture, vanquish, and subdue the Saracens, pagans, and other enemies of Christ, and to put them into perpetual slavery, and to take all their possessions and their property. It says, we also call upon the Pope to repudiate and rescind the Inter Caetera Bull of 1493 that granted authority to Spain and Portugal to take all lands and possessions so long as no other Christian ruler had previously claimed them. These bulls instilled the doctrine of discovery, the papal sanctioning of Christian enslavement and power over non-Christians. All right. So this is technically when you start seeing people come over across the water on boats, right? It says the letter stated the papacy had done positive work in regarding the rights of indigenous peoples. This is what they believe, right? Because, they wrote a letter apologizing, right? And they believe that, they did some positive work, but we've been learning on this word, right? And what they mean by it, right? What they mean by it. So you know you're of the indigenous peoples, right? So you know they reached to America with this doctrine of discovery, right? And it was when that they did that, they removed all of your rights, which were natural, right? Because if you're indigenous, you're natural, right? You're occurring here naturally, right? So they took away your natural rights and bestowed upon you legal ones. This document right here, right? So this document is what gave birth to this law system that they were able to input onto you, right? Because they needed to have something legal. Of course they did, right? They had to make it religious, right? They had to say, okay, based off, you know, the religion that we're in, we have enemies that we need to conquer and subdue to put them under our grip, right? So, it said to capture, vanquish, subdue the Saracens, right? So let's continue to dig, right? Saracen. It says supposedly in Arab, right? But we're going to crack that because it's not in Arab. It says non-Christian, heathen, pagan, right? It says usually said to be from Arabic, right? Of the eastern, the east of sunrise, right? But in medieval times, the name was associated with that of the biblical Sarah, right? Or what we call Sarah, right? Sarah, right? So we know that if it's based off the biblical Sarah, it can't be in Arab, right? So let's continue to dig. It tells us that Saracen was a term widely used among Christian writers in, you know, Europe during the Middle Ages. The term's meaning evolved during its history. See, it changed, right? It evolved over, you know, during its history. All right. It says that now it's funny because when we read right here, it said in medieval time, right? In medieval times, right? The name was associated with the biblical Sarah. We're going to see right here, it says early medieval era, the term came to be associated with Arab tribes as well, right? It says by the 12th century, Saracen had become synonymous with Muslim, all right? So they merged that. When we get to the early usage and its origins, the early usage and its origins, the early usage and its origins, it says that Saraceni, right, or Saraceni, right, might be derived from the Semitic triliteral root Sarak, which is to steal, rob, and plunder, or perhaps more specifically, thief, martyrer, or plunder, right? Other possible Semitic roots are what? Tribe and confederation. Let's continue to dig though, right? Because here again, we say that in medieval usage, right? It says beginning no later than the early 5th century, Christian writers began to equate Saracens with Arabs. Saracens were associated with the so-called Ishmaelites, descendants of Abraham's older son Ishmael, right? Some strands of Jewish, Christian, and Islamic genealogical thinking. It says the writings of Jerome are the earliest known version of the claim that the Ishmaelites chose to be called Saracens in order to identify with Abram's free wife Sarah, rather than the Hagarenes, which could have highlighted their association with Abraham's slave woman Hagar. Alright? So that's just something to think about, right? Because it'll show why, you know, they would want to do the name switch in the first place. Right? So, we're gonna, you know, continue to dig on, fam. Right? Here we have the discovery doctrine. It says the discovery doctrine is a concept of public international law expounded by the United States Supreme Court in a series of decisions, most notably Johnson versus McIntosh in 1823. Chief Justice John Marshall explained and applied the way of the colonial powers laid claim to lands belonging to foreign sovereign nations during the Age of Discovery. Under it, title to lands lay with the government whose subjects traveled and to and occupy the territory whose inhabitants were not subjects of a European Christian monarch. The doctrine has been primarily used to support decisions invalidating or ignoring Aboriginal possession of land in favor of colonial or post-colonial governments. Alright, so, I mean, bam, right? It says the doctrine of discovery was promulgated by European monarchies in order to legitimize the colonization of lands outside of Europa, right? Between the mid-15th century and the mid-20th century, this idea allowed European entities to seize lands inhabited by indigenous peoples under the guise of discovery. In 1494, the treaties of Tordesillas declared that the non-Christian lands could be colonized under the doctrine of discovery. Alright, so, you know, they're telling you right there, right, that this doctrine of discovery is what cut you off. Right? It says in 1792, right, Secretary of State Thomas Jefferson declared that the doctrine of discovery would extend from Europe to the infant U.S. government. The doctrine and its legacy continue to influence American imperialism and treatment of indigenous peoples. Natural rights and legal rights. This is what we're talking about, alright? Natural rights and legal rights. Now notice it says this is a concept of public international law, right? And we're back to international law now. It says international law is a set of rules generally regarded and accepted as binding in relations between states and in between nations. It serves as a framework for the practice in stable and organized international relations. International law differs from state-based legal systems in that is primarily applicable to countries rather than to private citizens. National law may become international law when treaties delegate national jurisdiction to supranational tribunals such as the European Court of Human Rights or the International Criminal Court. Treaties such as the Geneva Conventions may require national law to conform to respective parts. Alright, it says much of international law is constant-based governance. This means that a state member is not obliged to abide by this type of international law unless it has expressly consented to a particular course of conduct. This is an issue of state sovereignty. However, other aspects of international law are not constant base, but still are obligatory, right? Or obligatory, upon state and non-state actors, such as customary international law and preemptory norms. Alright? And these is the two branches. You got public law, or three. You got public law, or public international law, private international law, and then supranational law. Alright? With the supranational law, right? So, we're seeing right here, fam, that they imposed their beliefs on our natural rights, right? Which is backed up by the natural law, right? That they say supposedly worked its way into the Bible, right? But we know that traditionally it belonged to the Most High, right? So, I was able to find, some backing of natural law in the scriptures, right? And I wanted to dig on it with y'all, right? And yeah, we're gonna get these examples out of this natural law, right? And we're gonna see just really what we're talking about. Alright? It says, in the beginning, the Most High, Hawa, created the heaven and earth, and the earth was without form. Right? Didn't we just read this? Where did we see it though? Right? When they were talking with these weird words, right? Without form, right? Amorphous, right? Without form. It says that it was without form and it was void, right? Without form and void. And when we go forward, right? It says right here, empty and void, right? Evanescent. So they say your natural law is empty and void, right? And we're reading right here in the same context, right? So it says, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the spirit of Hawa moved upon the face of the waters. And Hawa said, let there be light, and there was light. And Hawa saw the light that it was good. And Hawa divided the light from the darkness. And Hawa called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were called the first day. And Hawa said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And Hawa made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And Hawa called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. And Hawa said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And Hawa called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called the seas. And Hawa saw that it was good. And Hawa said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and from the fruit tree yielding fruit after its kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth, and it is so. So here we have the first example really of natural law, right? Because we know that every fruit naturally has its own seed, right? And it produces its own fruit according to that seed, right? Naturally. So here we're talking about the creation of what? Right? The creation of what they want to refer to the world, right? But I got another word for it, right? So let's see, right? Nature, right? The restorative powers of the body, right? Bodily process, powers of growth, right? Nature, being, principle of life, character, essence, a course of things, natural character, constitution, quality, right? It says literally birth, from born, to be born, right? And then they want to give us the hijack so bad, right? They want to say the universe, right? But we know it's creation. Alright, we know it's just nature, right? We know he's just talking about nature, right? We're just talking about what's natural, right? We're not talking about that, because we're talking about what? Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb, the yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after its kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth, and it was so. Right? The Most High made the firmament, right? And divided the waters, right? He's constantly taming the water, right? When you look at the water that's in the ocean, right? And it's raging, right? As it waves, right? Crashing against each other, right? There is a law, there is a natural law that is governing the frequency of those waves. But see, to be real, fam, right? They hit us with the legal law, which forces us to ignore the law, which is already natural. It's already before us. This natural law, which is higher than these human-made laws, right? When we forget about the natural laws, when we fully dive into these human-made laws, right, we become insane, fam. You're living in a state of insanity, fam. I mean, we simply forget that natural law is what governs the plane, right? So it said nature is constitution, right? So let's dig, right? Constitution. Constitution is law, regulation, edict. Constitution, establishment, right? The act of settling, settled condition, anything arranged or settled upon. Regulation, order, ordinance, right? The act of establishing. So nature is order, nature is ordinance, nature is law, nature is regulation, right? Reverence for nature, right? Because nature will kill your ass. Right? To the folks in the fam living in the Midwest, right? Over there in tornado country, right? Where they got to deal with tornadoes, right? That's nature, right? Nature, right? So nature is naturally what governed, right? What constituted the law, right? Naturally, right? Natural law, right? And here we were reading an example, right? A form of natural law. From the Creator's standpoint, right? From the very beginning, right? Him working on the land, right? On the plain, right? Developing the earth, right? Nature means constitution, right? Constitution means ordinance, right? Order. This is Sabbath, right? Not Sabbath, Sabbath, right? Says to command, right? To charge, give orders, lay charge, to give charge, to order, right? It says it is a primitive root, to constitute, to appoint, to give charge, right? To command, to send a messenger, to set or put in order, right? To constitute, right? To constitute, to appoint. Sabbath, right? Sabbath. And when we get to the Torah, right? Or the Torah, right? It's the law, the direction, the instruction, right? The instruction, the direction. The body of prophetic teaching, the body of priestly direction and or instruction, right? The body of legal directives, right? Law. It is the law, right? The law of the Most High, right? The Creator. The natural law. Right? If nature is constitution, and constitution is the law, the ordinance, right? Sabbath is the constitution, the command, right? To constitute, right? To appoint. And the Torah, right? Is the law itself. So the Torah is our natural law, right, fam? That is our natural law, right? Alright, so let's get back to these scripts, right? And the earth brought forth grass and herb, yielding seed after its kind, and the tree yielding fruit whose seed was in itself after its kind. And Hawa saw that it was good. So when Hawa saw these things naturally, right, because it was in nature, it was good. It was natural. It was appointed the way he created it, right? The way it was shaped, right? The way it was formed, right? The way it was framed, right? It was sculpted, right? By every specific detail, right? And the evening and the morning were the third day. And Hawa said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night. And let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And Hawa made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And Hawa set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, to divide the light from the darkness. And Hawa saw that it was good. And in the evening of the morning were the 4th day. And Hawa said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of the heaven. And Hawa created great whales, and every living creature that moveth with the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And Hawa saw that it was good. And Hawa blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply. And Hawa blessed them, and saying, be fruitful and multiply. And Hawa blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let the fowl multiply in the earth. Genesis 1:22 is the first time you heard the natural law be instructed, fam. Alright? He told them to be fruitful and multiply. He blessed them when he said this. And the evening and the morning were the 5th day. And Hawa said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing and beast of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And Hawa made the beast of the earth and after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And Hawa saw that it was good. And Hawa said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the earth, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So Hawa made man, or created man, in his own image. In the image of Hawa created he him. Male and female created he them. And Hawa blessed them, and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply. And Hawa blessed them, and Hawa said unto them, be fruitful and multiply. And Hawa blessed them, and Hawa said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the earth, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. You see that there? The second time you heard it, right? Another form of natural law, fam, right? Right in your face. To be fruitful and multiply, right? That was the same order he gave to the fish, right? And the animals of the sea, right? That's natural. That means the frequency between you and every living thing was already established and connected. You were already one. Through frequency, through vibration, right? Through vibration. And Hawa said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, and which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, that you it shall be for meat. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And Hawa saw that everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the 6th day. So there you have it, fam. Natural law, right? Is a philosophy asserting that certain rights are inherent by virtue of man, nature, or natural man endowed by nature, traditionally the Most High, Hawa. And it cannot be understood universally through human reason. It can only be understood through wisdom. Oh yeah, we gonna touch on it. We gonna dig, fam. I came to dig with y'all today. Alright? Now, the positioning and the task of the sun as a luminary is a huge example of natural law. Right? The divisions of the waters above and under the firmament is an example of natural law, right? Because they still are being governed, right? Right now at this very moment, right? Hijacks had to invent science to explain this. That is natural. You just forgot. But it's our season to remember, baby, and we starting to remember, right? And I hope you charged up, right? I hope you charged up, right? Shout out to my fam, right? Because, woo! I'm telling you. When the Most High wants to make something clear and evident to his people, he's going to do it. Alright? So I hope it is as clear to you as it is clear to me right now. Alright? The creation of the dome, the barrier, the firmament. This is all natural law, natural ordinances that have been put in place, right? That technically supersede our understanding. But with wisdom, we have the capability, right? So what they want to call universally through human reason is wisdom, which is how we know natural law came from the Most High. All right? And we're going to continue to carry on, right? Genesis 2:1, right? Genesis 2:1. It says, thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And the seventh day, Yahweh ended his work which he had made, right? And he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And Yahweh blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which Yahweh created and made. So here it goes again, right? Another representation of natural law, right? That Yahweh instituted, right? Because we're scratching and we're digging on what? The Sabbath, right? We're digging on the Sabbath, right? So it says the Most High rested on the seventh day, and then he sanctified it, making it separate. Another prime example of natural law in the scriptures, right? And it says natural law, right? Or, I mean, as we've been seeing it, is what? It's attached to nature, right? And it can be inherited by virtue or by spirit, right? By the nature of man, which was set upon to us by the Most High, right? So natural laws as a whole don't have to be necessarily Mosaic law just yet, even though we can see how Mosaic law would revolve around natural law, right? They're kind of separated at this point, but they still mesh up, right? Because we're seeing natural law, right, to gain an understanding of what it is, right? So we can see it for ourselves, right? So I wanted, to point out something, right? Before I do that, hold on real quick. Alright, so here we're looking at Shabbat, right? Shabbat. Now, I mean, Sheba, yeah, you can say that, but I'm going to say Shabbat, right? Because it's really the ah sound, right? Now, Shabbat means seventh. 17, right? The 7 times, 7, right? It says 7 is a cardinal number, as an ordinal number, right? An ordinal number, right? Shabbat. Shabbat, right? An ordinal number. So remember when we read on ordinance, right? Right? When we saw, was it right here? This one? Constitution, right? Ordinance. Right? So, it's an ordinal number, right? And it was on the 7th day that Hawa rested, right? 7th day, right? Shabbat, right? And as we dig on that connection, right? I find it unique, right? That he rested, right? Shabbat, right? So Shabbat, being the number 7, is already in the word Shabbat, which was the rest day. So there was no way you could separate the 7th day from the Sabbath, right? The Shabbat. So this is another form of natural law being proven to us, right? Right in our face, right? Right in our face, right? With the Shabbat. So, this is an ordinal number, right? Ordinal. It says, book setting forth the order of services in the church. Ordinal, right? Ordinal is regular, ordinary, right? Showing order, denoting the order of succession. So it's order. Law, right? So it was natural law for Hawa to rest on the Shabbat, which happens to be the 7th day, which is Shabbat. Alright, fam? This is natural law. Alright? And you can't sit up here and say, oh, well, you know, natural law, you know, it won't work for me because I'm this and I'm that. Nah, you were called natural first, fam. They called you Afro-American, right? American natural, right? You were natural first, fam. Alright? We didn't understand the terminology they was throwing, but Afro meant natural. There was no separation. Alright, so you are the natural. That means natural law can only be practiced through you because it's dealing with what? The Torah, right? Isn't that what we're piecing? Natural law, right? And we got what? The Constitution, the ordinance, right? The Sabbath, right? You see, we back to it. The Sabbath, right? Take away the V, right? You put the B there. Sabbath, all over again, fam, right? Which is to give charge, constitute, right? Constitute, right? We're talking about law, right? Because law means what? Constitution. Alright, so that what the Torah is, ordinance, right? So naturally we got to get back to what? Our natural law. And our natural law is what? The Torah, right? The Torah, right? Now we're going to jump down to verse 18. Alright? Or actually, start right here, right? 15. Genesis 2:15. And the Most High Yahweh took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And the Most High Yahweh commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest eat freely eat. But of the tree of knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die. And the Most High Yahweh said, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a help meet for him. So look, here we see again, right? You know what? Let's continue to read. It says, and out of the ground, right, the Most High Yahweh formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air and brought them into Adam, right, Adam, to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to all the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found an help meet for him. It says, and the Most High Yahweh caused the deep sleep to fall upon Adam, or Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which Yahweh had taken from the man made he a woman and brought her into the man. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and he shall cling unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and they were not ashamed. Alright? And they weren't ashamed because they were natural. Right? They were in natural form. Now, the Most High Yahweh had recognized that it was not good, right? It was not good that man should be alone. Now, everything that we read that he, created naturally, he knew it was good. So, this only indicates what? According to natural law, the law of nature, it was not good for Adam to be alone. So this is another reinforcement, fam, of natural law. Right? Another example. Which is why they can't mess with your frequency, fam. They can't tell you nothing. Because they're not natural. Alright? They're not natural, fam. Alright? We're talking about natural situations. Right? We read. Right? Right? It says, and Yahweh blessed him, saying, be fruitful and multiply. And Yahweh blessed him, saying, be fruitful and multiply. Right? And fill the waters and the seas, and let the fowl multiply the earth. And Yahweh blessed them. And Yahweh said unto them, be fruitful and multiply. Alright? Alright, so we see how this is an example, right? A reinforcement of this natural law. Alright? So we're going to go ahead and continue. We got a lot more to get into, fam. Alright? And this is Genesis 9, right? 9 verse 1. And it says, and Yahweh blessed Noah and his sons, and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply. And Yahweh blessed Noah and his sons, and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, and upon that all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea, into your hand are they delivered. Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you, even as the green herb I have given you all things. But flesh with life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat. And surely your blood of your lives will I require at the hand of every beast, will I require it at the hand of man, at the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed, for the image of Hawa made he man. And you be you fruitful and multiply, and bring forth abundantly in the earth, and multiply therein. And you be ye fruitful and multiply, and bring forth and abundantly in the earth, and multiply therein. And Hawa spake unto Noah and to his sons with him, saying, And I behold, and I establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you. Alright, so again, fam, we looking at natural law, right? The Most High aligns man, right? He aligns the man that he formed and he shaped with nature, right? So the frequency of nature, right? That 432, that natural vibration is you. This is your law, fam, right? Your natural law. And we're just looking at evidence, you know what I'm saying? We're just looking at it for ourselves, you know, so we can see, because these natural laws we forgot, right? We forgot. All right. Yeah, you see all these scriptures we got, fam? We're going to get into them. All right. Now, this is Exodus chapter 18, right? When Moses was talking to his wife's father, right? His father-in-law, right? And we're going to see what interaction they had, all right? So, we're going to go ahead and start at verse 8. Alright? This is where I want to pick up from. And it says, And Moses told his father-in-law all that the Most High had done unto Pharaoh and to the Egyptians for Israel's sake, and all that travail that had come upon them by the way, and how the Most High delivered them. And Jethro rejoiced for all the goodness which the Most High had done to Israel, whom he had delivered out of the hands of the Egyptians. And Jethro said, Blessed be the Lord. Blessed be the Most High, right? Who had delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians and out of the hand of Pharaoh, who have delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians, right? Now I know that the Most High is greater than all gods, for in the thing wherein they dwelt proudly he was above them. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering and sacrifices for Hawa. And Aaron came and all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before Hawa. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses sat to judge the people, and the people stood by Moses from the morning unto the evening. And when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did to the people, he said, What is this thing that thou doest to the people? Why sittest thou thyself alone, and all the people stand by thee from morning unto evening? And Moses said unto his father-in-law, Because the people come unto me to inquire of Hawa, When they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one another, and I do make them know the statutes of Torah and his laws. And Moses' father-in-law said unto him, the thing that thou doest is not good. Thou wilt surely wear away both thou and this people that is with thee, for this thing is too heavy for thee, and thou art not able to perform it thyself alone. Hearken now unto my voice, and I will give thee counsel, and Torah shall be with thee. Be thou for thy people to Torah word, that thou mayest bring the causes unto Torah. And thou shalt teach them ordinances and laws, and shalt show them the way wherein they must walk, the work that they must do. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear Torah, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands, and rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And here's your sovereignty right there. Right? And it says, and let them judge the people at all seasons, and it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge. So shall it be easier for thyself, that and they shall bear the burden with thee. If thou shalt do this thing, and Torah commanded thee so, then thou shalt be able to endure, and all this people should also go to their place in peace. So Moses hearkened to the voice of his father-in-law, and did all that he had said. And Moses chose able men out of all Israel, and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And they judged the people at all seasons. The hard causes they brought unto Moses, but every small matter they judged themselves. And Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way into his own land. Alright. Now, there was another, prime example of how natural law is infused with wisdom. Right? And it was through the guidance, the spirit of wisdom, and the respect of Torah's laws, his natural commandments, his natural statutes, that he suggested this idea of wisdom from Moses to give the people of Israel sovereignty to govern themselves. Natural law, right? Which is the Torah. Ordinances, right? Ordinances and laws, right? That's what we've been talking about, right? That's what he said. Right? And thou shalt teach them ordinances and laws, and show them the way wherein they must walk. Alright? So that's what we're dealing on right now, right? Your natural law. Because you are natural by law. We are natural by law. The Most High is natural by law. Alright? But we got to get back to this Torah, y'all. We got to start lining it up. Alright? Our energy and frequency has to be A1. Alright? You got to take your head out the water. Alright? You got to look up. Alright? We're going to dig on Deuteronomy, right? Chapter 4. And we're going to run through it. Alright? Now, therefore, hearken, O Israel, unto the statutes and unto the judgments which I teach you. For to do them you may live, and go in and possess the land which the Most High Yahweh of your fathers give you. You shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall you diminish aught from it, that ye may keep the commandments of Yahweh, right, which I command you, right? It's crazy, right, fam? How I get the hijack, right? Wow. Alright, hold on real quick. Alright, I'm sorry about that, fam. It's crazy. We get into this and all of a sudden they want to start chopping down trees, like literally in front of the spot, you know? So, that's a sign of encouragement to continue, you know, to give y'all this lesson. So we're going to continue. I'm going to restart from the top. Now therefore hear, O Israel, unto the statutes and unto the judgments which I teach you, for to do them, that ye may live and go and possess the land which Yahweh your God, Yahweh of your fathers giveth you. You shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall you diminish out from it, that you may keep the commandments of the Most High your Yahweh, right, which I command you. Your eyes have seen what the Most High did because of Baal Peor. For all the men that follow Baal Peor, the Most High thy Yahweh hath destroyed them from among you. But you did cling unto the Most High. You are alive, every one of you, this day. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Most High commanded me, that you should do so in the land whither you go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom, your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes, and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great, who has the Most High so nigh unto them as their Yahweh, right? And is in all things that we call upon him for. And what nation is there so great that hath statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law, which I have set before you this day? Only take heed to thyself and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thy heart all the days of thy life, but teach them thy sons and thy sons. Especially the day thou stoodest before the Most High in Horeb, when the Most High said unto me, gather me the people together, and I will make them hear my words, that they may learn to fear me all the days that they shall live upon the earth, and that they may teach their children. And ye came near and stood under the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire unto the midst of the heaven, with darkness, clouds, and thick darkness. The Most High spake unto you out of the midst of the fire. Ye heard the voice of the words, but saw no similitude, only ye heard a voice. And he declared unto you his covenant, which he commanded you to perform, even 10 commandments. And he wrote them upon 2 tablets of stone. And the Most High Yahweh commanded me at that time to teach you statutes and judgments, that you may learn, that you might do them in the land whether you go over to possess it. Alright? So, we talking still, right? The natural law, fam. Right? And the natural law is the Torah. Right? But the natural law, you know, is also the laws of the Most High and the law of nature, right? The law of creation, the order that is set before you that continues to run the plane in which you see it or perceive it, right? And it is by this law and ordinance that we know there's no universe, right? Because everything is set in order, right? Not in chaos, right? So it is known, fam, right? When we get back to our ways, right? When we once again practice our natural law and literally proclaim it, right? And we bring out the fraud of these foreigners, right? It brings upon a certain happiness, right? And this happiness, they have a term for it, right? They call it eudaimonia, or eudaimonia, right? Eudaimonia. Eudaimonia is a Greek word commonly translated as happiness or welfare, right? However, human flourishing has been proposed as a more accurate translation. Etymologically, it consists of the words ou or you, which means good, and daemon, which means spirit, right? So they have a term, right, that means good spirit or whatever. And when you practice this natural law, right, and when you get back into the frequency of that which is natural, right, and you start practicing the natural, you begin to develop this sense of happiness, right? I mean, this is what we're feeling right now, right? We're feeling the vibration amongst each other, and we're coming together in happiness, right? Like, we're so happy to be amongst each other, right? It's a great feeling, right? The vibration is beautiful. This is flourishing, right? It says flourishing is a state where people experience positive emotions, positive psychological functioning, and positive social functioning most of the time, living within an optimal range of human functioning. It is a descriptor. It is a descriptor and a measure of positive mental health, overall life well-being, and includes multiple components and concepts such as cultivating strengths, subjective well-being, goodness, generativity, growth, and resilience. Flourishing is the opposite of both pathology and languishing, which are described as living a life that feels hollow and empty. It is a central concept in a positive psychology developed by Corey Keyes and Barbara Fredrickson. Alright? So, I mean, I don't know, fam, you know, to be a part of the whole, right? To be a part of the tribe, right? Isn't this the inner feeling we get, right? And when you sit outside and you look at nature, right, in its natural form, when everything is healthy, when all your resources are top notch, right? Your garden, your home, the life around you begins to flourish, right? So you see, once we turn back, you know, to our ways as we read, right? Everyone would be able to see it, right? It says, keep therefore and do them. This is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is wise and understanding people. All right. So they can't operate with you, fam. And they can't operate under your frequency. Alright? We're gonna go ahead and continue, you know. We got a lot of scripts, right? It says that They that make a graven image, right? Oh, I'm sorry, this is Isaiah 44, right? Isaiah 44, 9 through 19. Alright, Isaiah 44, 9 through 19. It says, they that make a graven image are all of them vanity, and their delectable things shall not profit, and they are their own witnesses. They see not, nor know that they may be ashamed. Who hath formed a god or molten a graven image that is profitable for nothing? Behold, his fellows shall be ashamed, and the workmen they are of men. Let them all be gathered together, let them stand up, yet they shall fear, and they shall become ashamed together. The smith with the thongs both worketh in the coals, and fashioneth with hammers, and worketh with the strength of his arms. Yea, he is hungry, and his strength faileth, and he drinketh no water, and is faint. The carpenter stretches out his rule, and he marketh out with a line. He fitteth with planes, and he marketh out with the compass, and maketh after a figure of a man, according to the beauty of a man, that it remain in the house. He heweth him down cedars, and taketh the cypress and the oak, which he strengthened for himself among the trees of the forest. He planteth an ash, and the rain doth nourish it. Then shall it be for man to burn, for he will take thereof warm himself. Yea, he kindled it, and baked bread. Therefore he maketh a god, and worship it, and he maketh a graven image, and fallen down thereto. He burnt part thereof in the fire, with part thereof the eating flesh, or he eating flesh, he roast, and is satisfied. Yea, he warmeth himself, and saith, Aha, I am warm, I have seen the fire. And the residue thereof he maketh a god, and even his graven image he falleth down unto it, and worship it, and prayer unto it, and saith, Deliver me, for thou art my God. Thou have not seen, or thou have not known, nor understood, for he hath shut their eyes, that they cannot see, and their hearts, that they cannot understand. And none considereth in his heart, neither is there knowledge nor understanding to say, I have burnt part of it in fire. Yea, also I have baked bread upon the coals thereof. I have roasted flesh and eaten it. I shall make the residue thereof an abomination. Shall I fall down to the stock of a tree? See, and this is detestable in the eyes of the Most High, because this idol is not natural. It is not breathing. It is not alive. Alright? So it is an abomination. It is detestable in the eyes of the Most High, because the breath is not within it. So why would anyone want to worship or anything that is not alive? Which proves the insanity. Alright? Alright, fam. So, picking back up, we read how the idolatry is unnatural, right? From the scripture before, because the altar wasn't living, right? There was no breath in it. So we're gonna go ahead and check out Isaiah 40, 11 through 21. Alright. As you can see, all the hijack is clear, right? It's crazy how that happens. That's why you just gotta stay with it. But alright, so we're gonna be digging from 11 to 21, alright? And this is Isaiah 40. Excuse me. It says that he shall feed his flock like a shepherd. He shall gather the lambs with his arm, and carry them in his bosom, and shall gently lead those that are with young. Who hath measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, and meted out of heaven with the span, and comprehended the dust of the earth in the measure, and weighed the mountains in scales, and the hills in a balance? Who has directed the Spirit of the Most High, or being his counselor has taught him? with whom took the counsel, who instructed him, and taught him the path of judgment, and taught him knowledge, and showed him the way of understanding. With whom took he counsel, and with whom took he counsel, and who instructed him, and taught him in the path of judgment, and taught him knowledge, and showed to him the way of understanding. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. And Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beasts thereof sufficient for a burnt offering. All nations before him are as nothing. They are counted to him less than nothing and vanity. To whom then will ye liken Hawa? Or what likeness will ye compare unto him? The workman melted a graven image, and the goldsmith spread it over with gold, and casted silver chains. He is so impoverished that he has no oblation, chooseth a tree that will not rot. He seeketh unto him a cunning workman to prepare a graven image that shall not be moved. Have ye not known? Have ye not heard? Has it not been told to you from the beginning? Have you not understood from the foundations of the earth? Alright. So, where, what would be, the point right here, right? Because once again, we're seeing a comparison to something unnatural being worshipped, right? Being praised, which is disgusting in the eyes of the Most High, right? Because it won't move. It can't move, right? There is no life in it, right? And your craftsman is just a craftsman, right? He can only craft the image, right? But he can't create anything. Alright? So we see that there, right? I'm going to go ahead and continue. Alright? This is Jeremiah 8:7. Right? Jeremiah 8:7. It says, even the stork in the sky knows her appointed seasons, and the dove, the swift, and the thrush observe the time of their migration. But my people do not know the requirements of the Most High. Even the stork that flies across the sky knows the time of her migration, as do the turtle dove and the swallow and the crane. They all return at the proper time each year, but not my people. They do not know the Most High's laws. Even the stork in the sky knows her seasons, and the turtle dove with the swift and the thrush observe the time of their migration. But my people do not know the ordinance of Hawa. And it keeps going. Alright, so now you know why we're here, right? Because we're referring back to that ordinance, right? The law, right? Was natural, right? Nature, right? Nature being the Constitution. Constitution being what? The law, the regulation, right? The regulation, the order, the ordinance. Alright? So even the birds know naturally the law, right? They know to remain natural is to be within the law, right? It works with the law, right? So they are in accordance with the Most High, naturally, in function, in vibration, right? Everything has their appointed seasons. And the stork knows when her appointed season is. But what about you, fam? Do you see nature as something natural to be in awe of? Remember when we started and I asked you how nature, you know, something natural, right? Seeing something natural, right? And how these emotions, or what emotions come to the heart, come to mind, right? I'm just saying, fam. Alright? So, yeah. It's all natural, right? But we ignore this natural side to life. Right? We want freedom, right? We want to be able to do what we know is right, right? What we're free to do, what's natural, right? But we can't. Or you can't. Because you stuck over here in these legal rights. You know, it's going to take action, fam. It takes separation. Alright? It takes separation. It takes the cost of being separate to activate this natural law. Alright? Because as we can see, there's nothing quite like it. And all these hijacks then came and added their version onto something. But it's not natural. Alright? And they can't practice what's natural. Because natural is who? You. Afro. Natural. Alright? We in Amos, right? Amos chapter 6, right? I'm gonna bring you guys to verse 12, right? It says, shall horses run upon the rock? Will one plow there with oxen? For ye have turned judgment into gall, and the fruit of righteousness into hemlock. Have you ever seen horses run upon the rock? And can one plow on a rock substrate, right? On the landscape of rocks, can one plow with ox? Right? See, this question is throwing something at you, right? Because it knows the Most High is in accordance with nature. It's in accordance with that is natural, right? The frequency and the vibration of the Creator is natural, and it exists in all things natural by law, because it is the law. Right? I mean, this is what we're digging on, right? This is Job. In Job chapter 28, right? And I want to bring you down to verse 20. I'm going to read from there, right? It says, "Whence then cometh wisdom? And where is the place of understanding? Seeing it is hid from the eyes of all living, and kept close from the fowls of the air. Destruction and death say, we have heard the fame thereof with our ears. Yahweh understandeth the way thereof, and he knoweth the place thereof. For he looketh to the ends of the earth, and seeth under the whole heaven, to make the measure, or to make the weight, for the winds, and he weigheth the waters by measure. When he made a decree for the rain, and a way for the lightning of the thunder, then did he see it, and declare it, and he prepared it, yea, and searched it out. And unto man he said, Behold, the fear of the Most High, that is wisdom. And to depart from evil is understanding." To depart from evil is understanding. Alright? So, when we look at Genesis 1:28, right? And it says that, or I'm sorry, not 1:28. When we go right here to 131. And it says that the Most High saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. Right? It was very good. And it was natural. Right? It was in order. Right? And because it was in order, because it was natural, to do anything or to take away or to add on to that would be evil. Right? It would be corruption. Right? It would be corrupted. Because he said it was very good. Right? And we're dealing with his creation, right? My bad, hold on, fam. So when we come back to the scripture, right? And surely there is a vein for the silver and a place for gold where they find it. Iron is taken out of the earth, and brass is molten out of the stone. He setteth an end to darkness and searcheth out all perfection, the stones of darkness and the shadow of death. The flood breaketh out from the inhabitant, even the waters forgotten of the foot. They are dried up, they are gone away from men. As for the earth, out of it cometh bread, and under it is turned up as it were fire. The stones of it are the place of sapphires, and it has dust of gold. There is a path which no fowl knoweth, which the vulture's eye has not seen. The lion's whelps have not trodden it, nor the fierce lion passed by it. He putteth forth his hand upon the rock. He overturned the mountains by roots. He cutteth out the rivers among the rocks, and his eyes seeth every precious thing. He bindeth the floods from overflowing, and the thing that is hid bringeth he forth to light. But where shall wisdom be found? Where is the place of understanding? Man knoweth not the price thereof, neither is it found in the land of the living. The death said, it is not in me, and the sea said, it is not with me. It cannot be gotten for gold, nor shall silver be weighed for the price thereof. It cannot be valued with the gold of Ophir, or with the precious onyx or the sapphire. The gold and the crystal cannot equal it, and the exchange of it shall not be for jewels of fine gold. No mention shall be made of coral or of pearls, for the price of wisdom is above rubies. And unto man he said, behold, the fear of the Most High Hawah, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. Alright? So when we go back here, right, and they tell you natural rights are two types of rights. Natural rights are those that are not dependent on the laws or customs or any particular culture or government, and therefore are inalienable, right? Inalienable. Legal rights are those bestowed upon a person by a given legal system. Right? Common law, right? Positive law, right? Positive laws are human-made laws, right? So it's time to separate. It says the concept of positive law is distinct from natural law. All right? It says the heavens declare the glory of Hawah, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day other speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where his voice is not heard. Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them has he set a tabernacle for the sun, which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. The sun, which is a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it, and there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. The law of Hawah is perfect. The law of Hawah is perfect. The law of Hawah is perfect. The sun, which as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the end of heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it, and there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. The law of Hawah is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Most High is sure, making the wise the simple. The statutes of the Most High are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of Hawah is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of Hawah is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of Hawah are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired are they than gold, yeah, than much fine gold, sweeter also than honey and the honeycomb. Moreover, by them is thy servant warned, and in keeping of them there is great reward. Who understand his errors? Cleanse thou me from secret faults. Keep back thy servant also from presumptuous sins. Let them have not dominion over me. Then I shall be upright. I shall be innocent from the great transgression. Let the words of my mouth be the meditation of my heart, be acceptable in thy sight, O Yahweh, my strength, my Redeemer. Did you see that? How the son comes out of his chamber like a bridegroom who just got married, and he is happy. He is happy to do what? To shine, to provide heat, to be bright, to be light. Naturally, because it is the law, the natural law. We're talking about the natural law, fam. Alright? So you have to be happy. You have to rejoice in your heart with this Torah, with the law. Naturally. You got to reach out for the law the way the plants reach for the sun, the way the grass reaches out to grow. You have to reach out for wisdom. You have to seek the Creator, fam, and return to the source. So when you tune up with your frequency, right, you are just like the trees, right, the cedars of Lebanon, right? And when your morality is clean and pure, you shine. You shine bright, baby. Right? You are pure. Pure. Pure water. Alright, so when we talking about the enemy, and when we're referring to the enemy in such a glorious status, unknowingly, when they're not even natural, right? And we know the Lebanon is natural. They can't be white. All that's gimmicks, games. We ain't for it. Alright, fam? Because the son comes out of his chamber as a bridegroom and rejoiceth as a strong man to run his race. Because the law of Yahweh is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of Yahweh is sure, making wise the simple. Wisdom cannot be found anywhere on the plain. In no tree, in no water of ocean, in no living man. It can only be found when you're connected with Yahweh. Right? So when they say natural law is a philosophy asserting that certain rights are inherent, right, born, right, naturally by virtue of the nature of man, endowed by nature, traditionally the Most High, and it can be understood through wisdom. Not no fucking human reason, alright? And it's not universal. Wisdom. Does not wisdom cry and understanding put forth her voice? She standeth in the top of high places by the way, in the places of the past. She crieth at the gates, at the entry of the city, at the coming in, at the doors. Unto you, O man, I call, and my voice is to the sons of man. O yea, simple, understand wisdom, and yea, fools, be ye of an understanding heart. Hear, for I will speak of excellent things, and the opening of my lips shall be right things. For my mouth shall speak truth, and wickedness is abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are in righteousness. There is nothing forward or perverse in them. They are all plain to him that understandeth, and right to them that find knowledge. Receive my instruction, not silver, and knowledge rather than choice of gold. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things that may be desired are not to be compared to it. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence, and find out in knowledge of witty inventions. The fear of the Most High, Hawa, is to hate evil, pride and arrogancy, and the evil way, and the froward mouth do I hate. Counsel is mine, and sound wisdom I am understanding. I have strength. By me kings reign, and princes decree justice. By me princes rule, and nobles, even all the judges of the earth. I love them that love me, and those that seek me early shall find me. Riches and honor are with me, yea, durable riches and righteousness. My fruit is better than gold, yea, finer, than fine gold, and my revenue than choice silver. I lead the way of righteousness in the midst of the paths of judgment, that I may cause those that love me to inherit substance, and I will fill their treasures. The Most High possessed me in the beginning of his way, before his works of old. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was. When there was no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no fountains abounding with water. Before the mountains were settled, before the hills, I was brought forth. While as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest part of dust of the world. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he set a compass upon the face of the depth, when he established the clouds above, when he straightened the fountains of the deep, when he gave to the sea his decree, the waters should not pass his commandment. He appointed the foundations of the earth. Natural law. Then I was by him as one brought up with him. I was daily with delight, rejoicing always before him. You see how important it is to rejoice, fam? Rejoicing in the habitable part of his earth, and my delights were with the sons of men. Now therefore hear unto me, O children, be blessed are they that keep my ways. Hear instruction and be wise, and refuse it not. Blessed is the man that hear me, watching daily at my gates, waiting the post of my doors. For whoso findeth me findeth life, and shall obtain the favor of the Most High. But he that sinneth against me wrongeth his own soul. All they that hate me love death. Alright? It don't get no better than this, man. Right? I'm gonna carry on. This is Proverbs 1, right? It says, the Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment, and equity, to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. To understand the proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. The fear of the Most High is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Alright? The fear of the Most High is the beginning. Alright? And you got this man-made law, right? This man-made law, right? This positive law, right? This shit is human-made, right? These human-made laws got you totally ignoring the natural law. Right? You totally ignore the natural law. Right? You don't wake up realizing the laws that the plants and the trees, the birds and all the animals are are in tune with. That's law. Alright? That's natural law. This human-made shit got you totally ignoring it. Alright? Ecclesiastes, right? Chapter 3, 1 through 8. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up with that which has, or which is planted. Sorry. A time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. Alright? So everything is according to nature and the timing or in the season of the Most High. The order of things. Right? The natural order. Right? Deuteronomy 11, verse 1. Therefore thou shalt love the Most High thy Yahweh, and keep his charge, and his statutes, and his judgments, and his commandments, always. And know, yea, this day, for I speak out not with your children which have not known, and which have not seen the chastisement of the Most High Yahweh, his greatness, his mighty hand, and his stretched out arm, and his miracles and his acts which he did in the midst of Egypt unto Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and unto all his land, and unto what he did unto the army of Egypt, and unto their horses, and to their chariots, how he made the water of the reed sea to overflow them as they pursued after you, and how Yahweh has destroyed them unto this day. And what did he unto you in the wilderness until ye came into this place? And what he did unto Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and the son of Reuben, how the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up, and their households and their tents, and all the substance that was in their possession in the midst of all of Israel. But your eyes have seen all great acts of the Most High, which he did. Therefore you shall keep all the commandments which I command you to this day, that you may be strong and go and possess the land whither you go to possess it, and that you may prolong your days in the land which Yahweh sware unto your fathers to give unto them and to their seed, a land that floweth with milk and honey. For the land whither thou goest to possess it is not as the land of Egypt, from whence you came out, where thou sowedest thy seed and waterest it with thy foot as a garden of herbs. But the land whither you go to possess it is a land of hills and valleys, and drinketh water of the rain of heaven, a land which the Most High Yahweh cared for, The eyes of the Most High Hawah are always filled upon it, from the beginning of the year unto the end of the year. And it shall come to pass, if ye shall hearken diligently unto my commandments, which I command you to this day, to love the Most High Hawah, and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul, that I will give you the rain of your land in his due season. That first rain and the latter rain, that they mayest gather thy corn and thy wine and thy oil. And I will send grass in thy fields for thy cattle, and thou mayest eat and be full. Take heed to yourselves, that your heart be not deceived, and you turn aside and serve other gods and worship them. But then Hawah's wrath be kindled against you, and shut up the heaven, that there may be no more rain, and that the land yield not her fruit, and lest you perish quickly from off the good land which Hawah giveth you. Therefore you shall lay up these my words in your heart and your soul, and bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall teach them to your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in thine house, when thou walkest by thy way, and when thou lay down, when thou risest up. And thou shalt write them upon the doorposts of thine house and upon thy gates, that your days may be multiplied, and that the days of your children in this land, which the Most High sware unto your fathers to give them, as the days of heaven upon the earth. For if you shall diligently keep all these commandments which I command you to do them, the love of Hawah the Most High, to walk in all his ways and to cleave unto him, then will Hawah drive out all these nations from before you, and you shall possess greater nations and mightier than yourselves. Every place whereon the soles of your feet shall tread shall be yours, from the wilderness and Lebanon, from the river Euphrates and unto the uttermost sea shall your coast be. There shall no man be able to stand before you, for Hawah the Most High shall lay the fear of you and the dread of you upon all the land that you shall tread upon, as he has said unto you. Behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. And a blessing if you obey the commandments of the Most High Hawah, which I command you this day. Alright, so it's always been about the commandments, right? The law, right? Leviticus 26, right? You shall make no idols, no graven image, neither shall you rear you up a standing image, neither shall you set up any image of stone in your land to bow down unto it, for I am the Most High Hawah. You shall keep my Shabbats and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Most High. If you walk in my statutes and keep my commandments and do them, then I will give you a rain in due season, and the land shall yield her increase, and the trees of the field shall yield their fruit. And the threshing shall reach unto the vintage, and the vintage shall reach unto the sowing time. And you shall eat your bread to the full, and dwell in your land safely. And I will give peace in the land, and you shall lie down, and none shall make you afraid. And I will rid evil beasts of the land, neither shall the sword go through your land. And you shall chase your enemies, and they shall fall before you by the sword. And 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight, and your enemy shall fall before you by the sword. For I will have respect unto you, and make you fruitful, and multiply you, and establish my covenant with you. And you shall eat old store, and breathe forth the old because of the new. And I set my tabernacle among you, and my soul shall not abhor you. And I will walk among you, and you will obey your Hawah. And ye shall be my people. I am the Most High Hawah, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt, that you should not be their bondmen. and I have broken the bands of your yoke and made you go upright. Upright. Alright? So here we have natural law, right? Which is in Latin. It says the law common to all beings. Right? It says Roman jurists wondered why the ius gentium, the laws of which apply to foreigners and citizens alike. Right? So the laws that apply to foreigners and citizens is not natural law. Was in general accepted by all people living in the empire. Their conclusion was that these laws were made sense to a reasonable person and thus were followed. All laws which would make sense to a normal person were called ius natural, right? Slavery, for example, was part of the empire-wide ius gentium because slavery was known and accepted as a normal social institution in all parts of the known world. Nevertheless, as forcing people to work for others was a human-produced condition, it was not considered natural, and hence was part of the ius gentium, but not the ius natural. The ius natural of the Roman jurists is not the same as implied by the modern sense of natural law as something derived from pure reason. Alright? It says the notion was that it underlaid existing law and it might be looking forward through it. Romans gave to natural law a great importance in their daily lives. They mentioned once ius natural, whatever that is, right? Which means the right that nature gave to all living things. Alright, so we've been hijacked, right? I mean, they just told you slavery was of natural law. I mean, not of natural law, right? But it was of this, right? And what's this, right? Ius gentium, right? Ius gentium says the laws which apply to the foreigners and citizens alike. Right? Let's dig. It says the ius gentium, or the just gentium, is the law of the nations. Right? So this has to be Gentile, right? Because we know Gentile means nations in our language, right? And this here is the law of the nations, right? It says it is a concept of international law within the ancient Roman legal system and the Western law traditions based on or influenced by it. The ius gentium is not a body of statute law or a legal code, but rather a customary law thought to be held in common by all gentes, peoples or nations, and reasoned with compliance with the standards of international conduct. So look, fam, you are not a Gentile, nor are you international. You are natural. Right? Natural. This is you. Natural. The Afro-American, the natural, right? AKA the copper-colored races originally found here by the European. The natural American, the American natural, right? And slavery was against the natural law, right? So now you know they replace your natural law, which is the Torah, right? Which leads to your flourishing, right? Your flourishing, right? This is the state that we're in right now, right? A descriptor and a measure of positive mental health and overall life well-being, right? It includes multiple components and concepts such as cultivating strengths, subjective well-being, goodness, and growth and resilience, right? A a state where people experience positive emotions, positive psychological functioning, and positive social functioning most of the time. Alright? And you being natural, this is what you do naturally. That's what they took from us, right? They hit us with the Gentiles, the laws of the Gentiles. So it's time to stand up, fam, right? It says in classical antiquity, the ius gentium was regarded as an aspect of natural law, an aspect, as distinguished from civil law. Legal, or this is civil law, the legal system, alright? In civil law, civilian law, or Roman laws, this legal system originated in Europe. Dang. So are you civilian or are you natural? Are you going to get out the legal system and get back to your natural rights? Leave this bullshit right here alone. Get back to your natural rights. Or are you going to continue to let them hold power over you? Because the Most High said it's time, right? It's time to separate. You got to declare these laws on your doorstep, on your forehead, right? On your wrist, so everybody know, right? So it's time to tribe up, right? Natural by law. This little PDF I came across, right? And we're gonna dig on it and then ride out. The law of nations. Now we see how the Most High felt about the nations, right? And the Most High told us in Deuteronomy, right? That all the nations shall come to you, right? Keep therefore and do them. This is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. The law of the nations, or the principles of the law of nature, apply to the conduct and affairs of nations and sovereigns. Alright, 1844, Philadelphia. Alright, I'm just gonna read the preface and we're gonna ride out, fam. Alright, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. I hope this was informative for y'all, and let's see what we get, right? It says the merits and increasing utility of this admirable work have not been, or have not as yet been sufficiently known or justly appreciated. It has been generally supposed that it is only adapted for the study of sovereigns and statesmen, and in that view, certainly the author's excellent preface points out its preeminent importance. Right? Preeminent. What does that mean? Right? Didn't we touch on that? Right? And it was what? Let's see if we can find it, right? Oh, it was right here. Right? Preeminence, right? Is sovereignty. You see what's going on? It says, but it is of infinitely more extended utility, or whatever. It contains a practical collection of ethics, principles, and rules of conduct to be observed and pursued as well by private individuals as by states, and these of the utmost practical importance to the well-being, happiness, and ultimate permanent advantage and benefit of all mankind, and therefore ought to be studied by every gentleman of liberal education and by youth in whom the best moral principles shall be inculcated. The work shall be familiar in the universities and in every class above the inferior ranks of society. The work shall be familiar in the universities and in every class above the inferior ranks of society. The work shall be familiar in the universities and in every class above the inferior ranks of society. It says, as regards lawyers, it contains the clearest rules of construing private contracts and respecting the admiralty and insurance law. The positions of the author, moreover, has been so sensibly and carefully supported and explained and so happily illustrated by historical and other interesting examples that the perusal cannot fail to entertain as well as instruct. The present editor therefore affirms without the hazard of contradiction that every one who has attentively read this work will admit that he has acquired a knowledge of superior sentiments and more important information than he ever derived from any of the work. It says, many years have elapsed since the original work was published, long before the invaluable decisions of Sir William Scott, Sir C. Robinson, and Sir John Nicol, and other eminent judges in the courts of admiralty and prize and other courts in the last edition, upon which any care was bestowed, and was published in AD 1797, since which time, and especially during the last general war, many most important rules respecting the law of nations were established. The object of the present editor has therefore been to collect and condense in numerous notes the modern rules and decisions to fortify the positions in the text by reference to other authors of eminence, and by which he hopes that this edition will be found more practical, utilely, without interfering with the text or materially increasing in its size. Alright. And here you have the law of the nations, right? And they go ahead and break down pretty much what we just covered through this whole lesson, right? It says the Romans often confounded the law of nations with the law of nature, giving the name law of the nations to the law of nature as being generally acknowledged and adopted by all civilized nations. The definitions given by the Emperor Justinian of the law of nature, the law of nations, and the civil law are well known. The law of nature says he is that which nature teaches to all animals. Thus, he defines the natural law in its most extensive sense, not the natural law which is peculiar to man, and which is derived as well from his rational as from his animal nature. The civil law that emperor as is that which each nation has established for herself, and which peculiarly belongs to each state or civil society. And that law, which is natural reason, has established among all mankind, and which is equally observed by all people, is called the law of nations, as being a law which all nations follow. It's time to separate, fam. Alright? They stole your law, your natural law, and invented the law of the Gentiles. Stand up. Tribe up. I'll be getting with y'all soon. Much ahab, and I hope you found it informative. Shout out to all my brethren, all the sisters out there, all my fam, and everybody across the plain digging up that indigenous truth. It's time to stand up, because you were made natural by law. Until next time, alright? Shalom.